Welcome to World Information HD, your ultimate destination for exploring the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the secrets behind America's most valuable currency pieces. In today's exciting episode, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and collectible coins ever struck by the United States Mint, the 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln Wheat penny. This coin, small in size but mighty in history, holds secrets that connect to World War II, the evolution of American coinage, and the incredible value that collectors are willing to pay today. Now, if you've ever emptied your piggy bank, checked your loose change, or searched through old coin jars at home, you might have held a piece of history without even realizing it. The 1942 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of those coins that looks ordinary at first glance, a simple copper cent with Abraham Lincoln's familiar face. Yet under the right conditions, this coin could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars today. So, grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and join us as we uncover the untold story of the 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln Wheat penny, its origin, errors, secrets, and the incredible reason why one of these coins recently sold for a jaw-dropping fortune. Let's start from the very beginning. The year was 1942. America was in the midst of World War II. Every aspect of daily life was affected by the war effort, and the U.S. Mint was no exception. The country needed copper and tin for ammunition, telecommunication wires, and military equipment. Because of this, the government began to consider changing the composition of the 1-cent coin to save metal for the war. However, in 1942, the penny still contained its traditional mix of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the same composition used since 1909 when the Lincoln Wheat penny was first introduced. But there was something special about 1942. It was the final year before the U.S. Mint made one of the biggest changes in coinage history. The following year, in 1943, the famous steel penny was produced, a shiny gray coin made mostly of zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war. Because of this transition, collectors have always considered the 1942 wheat penny to be a pivotal coin, the end of one era and the beginning of another. Now, when we talk about mint marks, it's important to understand that the Philadelphia Mint, which produced the 1942 no-mint Mark penny, didn't include any letter below the date. That's why you'll see 1942 on the coin's front, just under Lincoln's shoulder, with no letter beneath it. This no-mint mark variety is actually from the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historic mints in the country. It struck millions of these pennies, over 657 million in total. But here's where things get interesting. Despite that massive number, finding one in perfect, uncirculated condition is extremely rare. Most of these coins circulated for decades. They were used to buy candy, newspapers, and other small items during the war. The average 1942 penny you find in change today will show wear and tear, scratches, faded luster, and dull surfaces. However, a few examples were preserved by collectors from the moment they were minted. These coins have survived in stunning condition, with sharp details, rich red copper color, and mirror-like brilliance. Those are the coins that fetch unbelievable prices at auctions. But before we talk about the value, let's take a closer look at the coin's design. On the obverse, or front, you'll see the famous profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait first appeared in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and has remained on the penny ever since. The inscriptions read, "In God We Trust." Along the top edge, Liberty, to the left, and the date, 1942, on the right. The simplicity of the design combined with Lincoln's timeless image makes this coin a true American icon. On the reverse side, the beauty continues with two stylized wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. Above them, you'll see the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many one. This wheat design was used from 1909 to 1958, and collectors adore it for its classic elegance. That's why coins from this series are often called wheat pennies. Now, here's where things take a turn for the fascinating. While the 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat penny was supposed to be struck in copper, There have been reports and discoveries of error coins, pennies that were accidentally struck on the wrong metal planchets. In rare cases, leftover experimental steel planchets or bronze blanks from other years found their way into the presses. These errors are like winning the lottery for coin collectors. They are exceptionally rare and highly sought after. A 1942 penny struck on a steel planchet, for instance, could be worth an astronomical amount because of its connection to the wartime metal transition. Even regular 1942 copper pennies can hold great value depending on their condition and grade. Coin grading plays a vital role here. The higher the grade, the higher the price. A penny graded as MS-60, mint state, is uncirculated but might show minor marks. An MS-65 or MS-67 red example, with full original luster and no signs of wear, can bring incredible money at auction. These coins shine like they just left the mint yesterday, with that deep, fiery copper glow that collectors love. Let's talk numbers. The majority of 1942 pennies in circulated condition might only be worth a few cents, maybe up to $1. But when you find one that's in pristine, untouched condition, the story changes dramatically. Auction records show that collectors have paid thousands of dollars for top-graded examples of this coin. In particular, coins that have been professionally graded and encapsulated by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, are the ones that bring the highest prices. What makes this coin even more desirable is its historical significance. The 1942 penny isn't just a piece of copper, it's a tangible relic of America's wartime home front. It reminds us of the sacrifices people made, the factories that converted to produce weapons, and the citizens who collected metal scraps for the army. Holding a 1942 penny is like holding a story from that era, a small but powerful symbol of resilience and unity during one of the toughest times in U.S. history. Another aspect that boosts its value is toning, the natural color changes that occur over time. Some 1942 pennies display beautiful rainbow tones, with hints of red, gold, and blue. These unique patterns make each coin one of a kind, and collectors pay a premium for visually striking examples. Even the smallest difference in color or surface quality can make a huge impact on the final price. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 1942 penny is valuable? First, look at the mint mark area. If there's no letter below the date, it's from Philadelphia. Then check the condition. Does it still shine like new, or is it dark and worn? Finally, inspect it closely for any strange errors, doubled images, or unusual metal surfaces. A strong magnifying glass or a coin microscope can reveal fascinating details. It's always best to have your coin professionally graded if you think it might be valuable. A certified grade not only confirms its authenticity but also significantly increases its market value. Collectors trust grading services because they provide a standardized scale and seal the coin in a protective holder that prevents further damage. So, the next time you find an old penny lying around, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune. Remember, every great coin story begins with curiosity. Someone took the time to look closely and discovered a hidden treasure. The 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny has become a symbol of numismatic history, a bridge between America's pre-war and wartime coinage, a masterpiece of design, and a beloved collectible that continues to captivate new generations of coin enthusiasts. From its origins in Philadelphia to its unexpected appearances in modern collections, it stands as a testament to how even the smallest pieces of metal can carry incredible stories through time. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the record-breaking value. Among the many examples of this coin, one extraordinary 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in perfect, mint state red condition, preserved as if time itself stood still, recently sold for a breathtaking $50,000. Yes, you heard that right. $50,000 for a single 1-cent coin. So keep your eyes open, check your change, and treasure every penny. Because in the world of coins, history and fortune can sometimes be found in the smallest places. Thank you for watching World Information HD, where every coin tells a story. Welcome to World Information HD channel, your ultimate source for discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious and fascinating world of a coin that could easily be lying in your old jar of pennies, waiting to surprise you with its incredible value. The 1952 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny from the United States of America. At first glance, it looks like any other old brown penny, small and simple. But what lies behind its creation, history, and rare variations makes it one of the most captivating pieces in American numismatic history. Let's take a journey through time, back to the early 1950s, when the world was recovering from the shadows of World War II. The United States was rising as an economic superpower, televisions were becoming common in American homes, and President Harry S. Truman had just left office. It was a time of optimism, industry, and quiet pride in American craftsmanship, including its coins. In 1952, the Lincoln Wheat penny had already been in circulation for over 4 decades, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. This was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, a bold move that marked a change in American coin design forever. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny symbolized unity, hard work, and national pride. Its famous portrait of Lincoln on the front, called the obverse, carried not just an image, but an ideal, the belief that anyone, regardless of their background, could achieve greatness through honesty and determination. Now, the 1952 no-mint mark Wheat penny may look ordinary, but that's part of its mystery. You see, the absence of a mint mark, the tiny letter that indicates where a coin was made, tells us that this penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia was the main minting facility, and did not use a mint mark at that time. Millions were made, about 186 million, to be exact. So why is it that some of these pennies today can be worth a small fortune? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and history. Most of the 1952 pennies were used in daily transactions, passed from hand to hand, buying coffee, newspapers, or candy for children. Over time, these coins were scratched, worn, and lost to circulation. Very few survived in pristine, untouched condition. Those that did, particularly in uncirculated or mint state condition, became incredibly valuable to collectors. Imagine holding a penny that has survived more than 70 years without a single mark, still shining like the day it was struck. The details on Lincoln's hair, the lettering, the wheat stalks on the reverse, everything perfectly crisp and clear. Such coins are the holy grail for collectors who are willing to pay thousands for perfection. The reverse side of this coin features 2 wheat ears, giving it the nickname Wheat Penny. Between those stalks, you'll find the words 1 cent and United States of America. A simple but powerful design that reflected the agricultural strength of the nation. Above them, the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many one, stands as a reminder of unity and shared purpose. But the story doesn't stop there. Some 1952 Lincoln pennies are not just valuable because of their condition, some carry errors or varieties that make them extremely rare. For example, there are pennies from this year with double die obverse, meaning parts of the design were struck twice by accident, creating a doubling effect in the lettering or Lincoln's features. These errors, invisible to the naked eye at first glance, can turn a simple penny into a collector's dream. Other rare variations include off-center strikes, die cracks, or repunched mint marks on coins from the Denver or San Francisco mints. But since our focus is on the no-mint mark Philadelphia coin, its beauty lies in its purity and the occasional striking anomaly that slipped through unnoticed. Now, let's talk about grading. A coin's grade is what determines most of its value. Grading is a careful process where experts examine a coin's surface, shine, color, and even microscopic details. A 1952 penny that grades good or fine might only be worth a few cents above its face value. But once you reach mint state grades, especially MS 65 or higher, the value skyrockets. These coins have full original luster, no scratches, and crisp details that make them look as if they just rolled off the press yesterday. Collectors around the world are fascinated by the Lincoln Wheat series because it tells the story of American life through the decades. From the Great Depression to the post-war boom, these small copper coins have seen it all. The 1952 issue represents an era of optimism. When America was rebuilding, families were moving to the suburbs, and every penny mattered. Even the composition of the coin tells a story. The 1952 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a mix that gives it that warm reddish tone. It weighs about 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters across. During World War II, the government had experimented with steel pennies in 1943 to save copper for ammunition, but by 1952, the classic copper composition had returned, symbolizing a country back on its feet and looking ahead. For coin collectors, also known as numismatists, every scratch, tone, and shine tells part of the story. Some collectors specifically hunt for the red examples, coins that still retain their bright, original copper color. Others go for the brown tones that have aged gracefully with a soft patina. Red examples are the most valuable because they show minimal oxidation, proof that they were stored carefully and protected from air and moisture. Over time, the demand for high-grade 1952 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies has only grown. Coin auctions have seen fierce bidding wars over the finest examples, sometimes surprising even experienced dealers. Collectors love these coins because they blend accessibility, since many were made, with challenge, because very few remain in perfect shape. It's fascinating to think that a coin once used to buy a newspaper could now be worth thousands of dollars. It's the thrill of discovery that keeps collectors searching, the idea that you might find a rare and valuable penny in a roll of old coins, an attic box, or even in your pocket change. That's the magic of numismatics. History and fortune intertwined in a single piece of metal. So, how can you tell if your 1952 Lincoln penny is special? Start by checking its condition under good light. Look for sharp details, original color, and no signs of damage. Examine Lincoln's cheek and jawline. These are high points that often wear down first. If you can still see fine lines in his hair and crisp lettering around the edges, you may have something special. If you think your coin could be rare, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They use advanced magnification and strict standards to certify the coin's authenticity and grade. Once graded, your coin's value can increase dramatically, as buyers trust certified coins more during auctions and sales. It's also wise to store valuable coins properly, away from heat, moisture, and direct sunlight. Use acid-free holders or capsules to protect them from oxidation. Even a single fingerprint can reduce a coin's value by leaving invisible oils that stain the metal over time. Beyond money, though, the 1952 penny is a tangible piece of history. Think about how many hands it might have passed through, maybe a factory worker's pocket in the 1950s, a soldier returning from Korea, or a child buying candy from a corner store. Each coin has lived a life, collecting stories as much as scratches. And some, miraculously, have survived untouched, hiding in drawers, forgotten in jars, waiting to reveal their value decades later. Numismatics isn't just about collecting metal, it's about preserving stories, legacies, and moments frozen in time. The 1952 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny is one of those treasures that reminds us that even the smallest things can carry the weight of history and hold incredible worth in the present. So next time you come across an old penny, don't dismiss it as ordinary. It could be a link to the past, or the key to a small fortune. Because in the world of rare coins, appearances can be deceiving, and every coin has a story to tell. And as for the 1952 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny, the finest known examples have sold for an astonishing $48,622. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to World Information HD channel for more fascinating stories about coins, collectibles, and hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your change jar right now. Who knows, your next penny might be worth a fortune. Welcome to World Information HD. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of American coin collecting, a world where a simple, ordinary-looking penny could hold an incredible hidden fortune. Imagine finding a small copper coin that most people would overlook, yet it carries a secret that could make you thousands of dollars richer. That's exactly what makes the 1950-60 Lincoln wheat penny so special, a coin that may be hiding in your old jars, tucked away in your attic, or resting quietly inside a forgotten wallet, waiting to reveal its true value. Let's journey back in time to uncover the story, history, and collector's fascination surrounding this extraordinary 1-cent coin that has surprised even the most experienced numismatists. The year was 1956, a period when the United States was booming economically after World War II. Gas cost less than 25 cents per gallon, televisions were becoming a household staple, and young collectors were beginning to notice that coins carry not just face value, but a piece of American history. In the Denver Mint, located in Colorado, millions of pennies rolled off the presses that year, all featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, and the two iconic wheat ears on the back. The D Mint mark right below the date signified that the coin came from the Denver Mint, one of the busiest mints in the nation at that time. But here's the twist. Though over 1.1 billion Lincoln wheat pennies were minted in 1956 with the Denver Mint mark, not all of them were created equal. Among these billions, there are a few that contain mysterious and valuable errors, the kind that can turn a simple cent into a collector's dream. So what makes the 1956 D Lincoln wheat penny so collectible? At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary copper coin. But serious collectors know to look closer. The 1956 D has several varieties that set it apart. One of the most fascinating is the D over D mint mark error, also known as a repunched mint mark. This happens when the letter D was accidentally struck more than once during the minting process, slightly misaligned each time. To the naked eye, it may appear as a faint doubling or shadow under the mint mark. But to coin collectors, this tiny detail can make all the difference, transforming an everyday penny into a valuable collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In addition, there are examples of die cracks, die chips, and doubling on the date or lettering, which occurred when the dies used to stamp the coins wore out over time. These minting errors create small imperfections that make each coin unique, and when preserved in mint state condition, they are extremely desirable. To truly appreciate the charm of the 1956 D penny, let's take a closer look at its design. On the obverse, the front side, we see the famous image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and it became one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Above Lincoln's portrait is the phrase, "In God We Trust," while "Liberty" rests to the left and the date, 1956. With the small D mint mark sits to the right. On the reverse, the back side, two stylized wheat stalks frame the words, 1 cent, in large letters, giving rise to the nickname, Wheat Penny. Above that are the words, United States of America, and at the top, E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one. This simple yet elegant design captures the spirit of American unity, and over time, it has become one of the most nostalgic and recognizable coin designs in the world. Now, let's talk about rarity, the true driving force behind coin value. Although billions were minted, most of the 1956 D wheat pennies circulated heavily, losing their original luster. The ones that survived in pristine condition, untouched by human hands, preserved with their original red copper shine, are the ones collectors seek most. In the world of coin grading, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale known as the Sheldon scale, where MS60 to MS70 refers to mint state coins, those that have never been used in circulation. A 1956 D Lincoln wheat penny graded MS67 or higher, with full red color, labeled as RD, by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can command an impressive premium in the numismatic market. It's not uncommon for collectors to pay hundreds of dollars for a coin in MS66 red condition, and the rarest high-grade examples have sold for several thousands at auction. What's even more fascinating is that many of these valuable coins are still out there, hidden in boxes, old piggy banks, or handed down through generations without anyone realizing their worth. Collectors are particularly drawn to the 1956 D wheat penny not just because of its design and errors, but also because it marks the end of an era. Only 2 years later, in 1958, the U.S. Mint replaced the wheat ears reverse with the Lincoln Memorial design, ending nearly 50 years of the wheat penny series. That transition added historical importance to the 1950-60 coin, making it one of the final chapters in the story of America's most beloved 1-cent piece. So how can you tell if your 1950-60 penny is valuable? Start by examining it under good lighting. Look carefully at the mint mark for any doubling. That's one of the key signs of a repunched mint mark variety. Then check the overall condition. Is it shiny, with full details on Lincoln's hair and coat? Or is it worn, dull, and scratched from circulation? Even circulated coins can carry value if they show a unique minting error, such as a die crack or off-center strike. For those who want to verify authenticity, professional grading is the best option. Reputable services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, will not only grade your coin but also certify it as genuine, giving you an accurate picture of its market value. Coins that come in certified holders often sell for higher prices because buyers trust their condition and authenticity. There's something magical about holding a 1950-60 penny in your hand. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a time capsule from the mid-20th century, a silent witness to decades of history, from the birth of rock and roll to the space race and beyond. Every tiny scratch and detail tells a story about its journey through time, and every collector who finds one adds a new chapter to that story. Many collectors have shared incredible discoveries, stories of finding rare 1950-60 pennies in pocket change, thrift stores, or inherited coin jars. Some of these discoveries turned out to be high-grade gems worth thousands of dollars. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's part history, part treasure hunt, and part mystery. The copper composition of these coins adds even more charm. The 1950-60 wheat penny was struck from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that rich reddish tone collectors call red. Over time, this copper oxidizes, creating shades of brown or dark orange. While fully red coins are the most valuable, even those with some natural toning can still attract collector interest. Today, as the market for rare coins grows, the 1950-60 Lincoln wheat penny remains a favorite for both beginners and seasoned collectors. It's affordable enough to collect in bulk, yet rare enough in high grades to make the hunt exciting. Auction records continue to show strong demand for this coin, especially for well-preserved examples with brilliant luster and sharp details. So, the next time you're going through your change or checking an old coin jar, take a moment to look closely at your pennies. If you see the year 1956 with a small D under it, you might just be holding a tiny piece of American history worth far more than its face value. Collectors and enthusiasts alike love the thrill of discovering hidden value in everyday coins. And who knows, your coin could be the next one to surprise the market. Because, believe it or not, a single 1950-60 Lincoln wheat penny in perfect mint condition, certified and preserved with its full red shine, once sold for an incredible amount, a life-changing sum for something once worth just 1 cent, and that record-breaking value of the United States of America 1950-60 Lincoln wheat penny was a stunning $38,984. Yes. You heard that right, nearly $39,000 for a single penny. So before you spend that old coin, take a closer look. You might just be holding a treasure from the past, a reminder that even the smallest things can hold the greatest worth. Thanks for watching World Information HD, where we uncover the hidden stories behind America's most valuable coins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible discovery from the world of numismatics. Welcome to World Information HD, your trusted source for discovering the hidden treasures hiding right inside your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into a truly fascinating story from American coinage history, the United States of America 1957 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. At first glance, this little brown coin might seem ordinary, just another old penny that's seen decades of use. But beneath its humble copper surface lies a story of history, rarity, and value that continues to amaze collectors all over the world. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll learn how a simple 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny could be worth a small fortune today. Let's start from the beginning, the story of the Lincoln wheat penny itself. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the coin instantly became a favorite among the American people. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and not just any person, but the nation's beloved 16th president. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse, or front side, features Lincoln's portrait, while the reverse proudly displays two wheat stalks curving around the words 1 cent. These wheat ears gave the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. The 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, represented by the small D mint mark just below the date. It was one of the final years of the wheat penny series before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Millions were minted that year, over 1 billion in fact, so you might think this coin is common. But the real intrigue begins when we look deeper into variations, condition, and striking errors that can turn an ordinary cent into a collector's dream. Now, let's talk about its composition. The 1957 D wheat penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the same formula that had been used for decades before the U.S. Mint switched to a cheaper composition in later years. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Its edge is plain, and while that might not seem special, it's the quality of the strike, color, and preservation that makes certain examples extremely desirable to collectors. The Denver Mint in 1957 was operating at full capacity, producing hundreds of millions of these cents. However, the quality of production varied. Some coins came out with weak strikes, filled mint marks, or small die cracks, all of which can make specific coins more unique. The challenge for collectors is finding one in pristine condition, bright red with sharp details, just as it was the day it left the mint nearly 7 decades ago. So, why do people care so much about this coin? The answer is in its place in history and its potential value. The 1957 D penny is from the final chapter of an American classic, the last stretch of the wheat penny era. Collectors want to preserve these pieces of history, and those who find exceptionally well-preserved or rarer coins can find themselves holding something worth thousands of dollars. Let's dig into how this little coin can become so valuable. First, we have to talk about the grading scale. Coin grading is like giving a report card to a coin, and the higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. The grading scale runs from poor, P1, all the way to mint state, MS 70. For a 1957 D wheat penny, the most valuable examples are those in mint state, especially those with vibrant red color, labeled as MS red in grading terms. Most circulated coins you'll find in your change or an old jar might be worth a few cents or maybe $1 if they're in nice condition. But uncirculated examples, those that were never used and still shine like the day they were made, can fetch much more. Coins graded MS 65 and above, with no scratches or discoloration, attract serious collectors' attention. Now let's discuss what truly excites collectors: errors and varieties. Some of the rarest and most valuable 1957 D pennies are those that came out of the mint with mistakes. Double die errors, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and die cracks are among the most popular. One of the most famous is the repunched mint mark, where the D appears doubled or slightly misplaced because the mint mark was hand-punched twice during minting. These tiny differences can transform an ordinary penny into a collectible masterpiece. There are also double-die obverse varieties, where the date or the word, Liberty, appears doubled under magnification. Finding one of these is like striking copper gold. Off-center errors are also highly collectible. These occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing. The more dramatic the off-center, the rarer it becomes, especially if the date is still visible. These kinds of errors make collectors' hearts race because each one is truly one of a kind. Even die cracks, small raised lines caused by cracks in the minting die, can add value if they're large or located in interesting places. Some form patterns that look like extra designs, adding intrigue and uniqueness. Beyond errors, another important factor that affects the value is color. Over time, copper coins change color, from bright red when freshly minted to reddish brown and finally to brown as they age and oxidize. Collectors prefer red coins, bright and shiny, because they're closer to their original appearance. Coins that retain that rich red luster are the hardest to find and therefore command the highest prices. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the artistry. On the obverse side, Abraham Lincoln's calm, thoughtful profile captures the dignity of his leadership. Above his head are the words, "In God We Trust," with "Liberty" to his left and the year 1957, followed by the small D mint mark on the right. On the reverse, the words "1 cent" sit boldly in the center, surrounded by the wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and unity. Above it, "E pluribus unum," meaning, "out of many one," reflects the strength of the American nation. Holding one of these coins is like holding a piece of 1950s America, a time of post-war optimism, classic cars, jukeboxes, and the birth of the modern era. Every scratch or shine tells a story of where it's been, who might have spent it, and how it survived through decades of history. Collectors and treasure hunters often search coin rolls, estate sales, and old jars hoping to spot that perfect 1957 D penny with gleaming surfaces or a striking mint error. Many beginners start their collecting journey with wheat pennies because they are affordable, historical, and full of variety. But what keeps people hooked is the thrill of discovering that one exceptional coin, the one that stands above the rest. So, how can you tell if you've got a valuable one? Start by inspecting your penny closely. Look under a magnifying glass for any doubling on the date or lettering. Check the D mint mark for signs of repunching. Then, observe the color. Is it bright red, reddish brown, or fully brown? The redder and shinier it is, the more it's worth. And of course, examine its condition. Sharp details, clean fields, and no major scratches or nicks all mean a higher grade. If you believe your coin might be valuable, the next step is professional grading. Reputable grading companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, can authenticate and assign a grade to your coin, officially certifying its condition and rarity. This not only ensures its value but also makes it easier to sell to serious collectors or at auctions. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies remains strong because they're a cornerstone of American numismatics. Even though billions were minted, finding one in superb, uncirculated, or error condition is like uncovering a hidden relic. Collectors across the world still cherish them for their design, history, and connection to America's past. Now imagine this: a small, copper coin that once had the power to buy a stick of gum could today fetch the price of a brand new car. That's the magic of coin collecting, where history, rarity, and passion collide to create incredible stories of value and discovery. So, the next time you come across an old Lincoln wheat penny, especially one from 1957 with a D mint mark, don't overlook it. Take a closer look. Because you might just be holding a treasure in disguise, a coin that survived nearly 7 decades and carries more history and worth than you could ever imagine. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for, the value. A pristine, high-grade, mint condition 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny, especially with brilliant red luster and no visible imperfections, has been sold at auction for an astonishing $36,774. That's right, a single copper penny, struck in 1957 at the Denver Mint, can be worth $36,774 today.